problem. Right away?
Yeah, we're taking a little tour of the area of Zimba, the village of Zimba, and we're walking with Passwell today. And Passwell has a few different jobs. We had a lovely dinner at his restaurant and lodge the other night, but today he's wearing his foundation hat. And I'd like to ask you, Passwell, what is the name of your foundation and what do you do?
So the foundation is called Kocebuka Community Foundation. This is a local organization. We started operations in 2009, and basically the motivation for the work was the level of vulnerability in the community. So what we did, we identified some vulnerable groups within the community that were socially isolated. These are children, persons with disabilities, and the women in general. So we set up this foundation to try and create a platform through which these people can be included in development and to have their voice in development, the development agenda.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Well, that sounds like something, to use the resources that are here to help the people here so that it's sustainable in the long run sounds like the best kind of solution for the difficulties.
Exactly, that's the whole point, because what it is sometimes these people, all they lack is just some bit of incentives to trigger that realization within themselves that they can live independent life. And that's where now we come in as a foundation. Sometimes we receive donations, sometimes we receive grants. These grants are intended to create a platform through which our vulnerable groups can become independent ultimately through a number of activities that we design depending on the situation on the ground.
What, Passwell, would you say is the biggest problem that you see that you would like to be able to address more thoroughly?
Yeah, basically I think there are multiple problems, but it all trickles down to the issue of exclusion, especially when you talk about persons with disabilities and women. Our society is structured in such a way that the system doesn't favor the full participation of women and children. So as a result of that, these people are unable to fully participate in the development agenda. They don't have access to the resources that would actually improve their welfare. So any work around triggering their realization to begin to participate at an equal level with others is what definitely works out for us.
Yes, great. Thank you. I wonder if you could tell me, if you could say one thing to the people, for us at home, our audience is going to be primarily in the US and Canada and perhaps in Western Europe. What would you want to communicate about how they might be able to help?
So education opportunities and health, these are the fundamentals that each one should have. Once they have access to education, once they have health, it means that they are able to live independent lives with time.
Last question for you. I've noticed many schools here. Many schools, I see signs as we either walk or drive between Zimba and Livingston, for instance. Some of these are religious schools, but you raised the issue of education, and particularly for girls. Do girls have equal access to education? And if they do, are they able to take advantage of that?
I would say that they don't have, but of course some progress have since been made in trying to create a platform through which they can have equitable access, but that is work in progress. Because one of the reasons I think that impede the access of education for girls is the traditional and cultural structure of our communities. Women or girls in general are not favored because for whatever reason, I think our tradition holds men in high esteem so much that even investing in a girl child has been a problem until recently. Of course, even to this day, families still prefer to educate a boy child than a girl child.
I see.
Yes. So maybe just to extend the same education aspect, I talked about the persons with disabilities we work with. Our schools have not been inclusive. Our schools are not inclusive. A person with disability would be required to relocate to maybe about 200 kilometers from here. That's where you find a school which can accommodate a person with various disabilities. So what we have been advocating for over the past 3 years is the inclusive education agenda, where we are saying that schools should be modified because the infrastructure is not accessible. So we've been advocating for the modification of the infrastructure so that children with disabilities can equally access schools within their communities. Of course, this is work in progress and it's not been easy because most of the buildings are not accessible. Yes.
See, well, very good. That was a very erudite discussion. I thank you, Passwell, and I'm sure that we're going to talk again, and I want to stay in communication with you, and I'm going to tell your story to the folks back home.
Most welcome.
Thank you
It's a
very
great
much
pleasure.
for talking with me today.
Thank you so much. I
Bye-bye.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sure.